All right, here we go. Well, it is good to be starting this project. I am Adam. I'm starting with a new project in QGIS. What I want to do today is I'm just going to explore some of the data that I have in lakes and rivers, these shapefiles that I've downloaded from North America lakes and rivers. And so I've got this in a vectors file already on my desktop. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag this into my project. And as you can see, it's just a pretty detailed list of all of the lakes and rivers that do exist on this North American continent of North America. So it's pretty extensively. You've got the it's a pretty good projection here. Let's see if we can see what's going on. U.S. National Atlas equal area is the projection that we're looking at. Yeah, let's stay with that. And what I just want to do is sort of look at styling. How do we style these rivers just to make them stand out and appear strong? We can look at using DEMs, but really I just want to look at the rivers right now. So really the other thing I want to bring in are the world countries, just as a border. That's good. So now that I'm looking at the countries, what's going on here is they are overlaying on top of my rivers. So I want to drag my countries down below my rivers. So now I've got rivers overlaying all of the countries. We're gonna we could change this, and we could make this background, this yellowish background of the countries, the fill of the back of the countries. We could make that a transparent fill, just to see through, or we could change it to any other color. Let's see if we can pull up our style manager. And I'm just going to dock this off to the right. And in fact, I think there should be a way to go ahead and pin it to the right. I should have done this before I started the stream. If I go view, maybe it would be under Windows. Window help. Processing. Mesh web. Yeah. Style manager should be docked to the right, and I'm not sure why it's not. Layer. View. Here, panels. Layer styling. So that's exactly what I want, is this layer styling off to the right. I also usually have a processing tab over here as well that I have not configured on this setup. So you can start playing around with this. First thing what we do, let's fill in this fill. You can actually drill into the fill of the world countries that we're looking at here. By the way, if I turn off my layer for the rivers, you can see it's just all of the countries, and it's in this really special projection that's just for North America. And you can see that all we have are the border of all of the countries of the world. So what we want to do is go ahead and change the fill color here. And what we can do is dial the opacity all the way down. And we can even make it a white fill that is transparent. Let's apply that, and it's already applied. And you can see now we have the border only. And now we're overlaying the line work, but even if we drag the line work underneath now, you can see that the border overlays, the world countries overlay. And it's really up to you which way you want to have it done. I'm just going to leave it like this for now. So how do we style rivers? Well, we can style them a lot of different ways. You know, it might be natural to use a simple blue line. You say, whoa, that does a lot. That makes it look very thick and maybe too thick. So what we could do is actually dial down the width of the strokes. So here we're selected on line. We're using millimeters. You can use points, pixels, meters at scale, map units, and inches. We just want to stick with millimeters for now, and you can actually dial this down or specify it in this field right here, in the width field. But you can dial it down, and as you do, you can see it takes off some of that bold line and thins it out. So maybe that's something we want to do there. There's a lot of other things we can do as well, and we are looking at this in millimeters. We can style them based on categorization. So we could add categories, and we can actually use a random color ramp, or we can choose what color ramp we want to use. Let's use a hue of blues, so from light to bright. That's interesting. I'm fascinated at what this is doing. Okay. So based on what value? What values do we have in our attributes? There's type, there's country, edit date, new, shape length, maybe by shape length. Can I specify by shape length here? Huh. Here we go. Shape length. Let's add another one. Let's classify. High number of classes. Classification would yield way too many entries, which might not be expected. Continue? No. No, we don't want to do that. Let's see. Oh, I see. It's because of the way that they're categorized. What if we did graduated instead? Here we go. Equal count. That's quantile. So we can break it down into 5 classes. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, so now you have the shortest rivers that are very light colored, and now you have the very long rivers that are a darker color. That's pretty neat. Could we maybe bump up the symbol itself for every darkness? So let's go. What did we say? 5? 1, 2, 3. We don't want to go up that high. Let's go down. 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's back to normal, I believe. Let's go up to 0.5. No, let's leave it at 0.4. Let's make it 0.40. 0.40. There we go. Okay. I don't know if I like that, but we're going to go with it. Let's come to this one. We're going to make this one 0.35. 0.35. Excellent. Okay. Maybe come to this one. We'll make this one, how about 0.3? I did it again. 0.3. There we go. Let's come back. Come here. Come here. How about 0.25? Very good. And then our lightest and smallest, maybe we'll make this a 0.2. All right. So our longest rivers are showing up darkest, and the lighter rivers are shorter. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty cool to play with. And I wonder if these values are in miles. No, they definitely are not. Wonder what those values represent. Well, it's hard to know without looking at the metadata. So I wonder if there's another way. We can do an equal count. So that's taking, say there were 100, and we set 100 rivers, for example. And we did equal count, and we separated it into 5 classes. That would make it would take the first 20 rivers and the 20 shortest rivers and populate them with the lightest blue, and it would take the 20 next 20 lightest shortest, and so it just breaks it down into 5 classes of 20 rivers that would comprise 100. Now I don't know exactly how many I suppose I could tell you just by looking. There's 11,140. So if you're talking about 10,000 rivers, how many would that be? Like 20, 25, 20, 2,600, somewhere in that. Each one of these represents, no, if it's 10,000, it'd be 20, it'd be 2,000. So you'd be looking at 2,000, every 2,000 rivers. The 2,000 shortest rivers would go at the top, would be the lightest. The heavy thickest are the 2,000 darkest rivers, longest rivers. So that's the way that the classes breaks down with equal count. Equal interval doesn't pay respect to which classes. Equal interval just means that it goes based on the length of the river itself. So if you have a river that is, if it were, a foot or a mile, right? 1 mile. It would basically do an interval, and let's say you had one river that's 1 mile, a river that's 2 miles, a river that's 3 miles, 4 miles, and 5 miles. It would use those intervals as the 5 classes. So it doesn't go based on a count. It would just, it takes the range of the values and then separates them into 5 distinct intervals, and that is the difference between equal count and equal interval. So equal interval is interesting. I'm not sure why we're not seeing it though. Maybe, what if I switched it back to equal count? I do see them. If I switch to equal interval, do you see how the numbers change? You see how that goes 128 to 996? So it's taking an interval, equal intervals. So the distance between 128 and 996,120 is the same distance as 996,120 to 199,207, and it goes all the way up in equal interval ranges. So that's how it quantifies. But I don't know if this is working correctly. So we are going based off of shape length. Legend format. I haven't looked into what this is. Precision. Okay. What if we did size? Ooh, now we got something interesting. Okay. Huh. Well, this is fascinating. Logarithmic scales, that's for based off log. It's beyond my ability to break down. Natural breaks uses a algorithm to figure out these distinctions. I don't remember what they are right now. Pretty breaks I've never messed with, and standard deviation based off the bell curve, I believe, and how that is represented is interesting. But yeah, I don't know if I just want to do equal count right now, just to see how this goes. Equal count's giving me my best options so far. I did equal interval. And I changed this to size. Size from and to. Okay, so there's the problem. Okay, so I see, okay, if we have 5 breaks, right, and we want it to be, we want to show a size, I think we made it 0.2 all the way up to, was it 0.5, right? So does that work that way? No, it doesn't. All right, size from 0.2 to 0.5. What if we did color? Huh. Size. Huh. Interesting. Interesting. Color. Size. Choose between color and size graduation. If you want to combine both, use a data-defined size for the symbol and graduate by color. Interesting. Okay, so what's trim do? Check to remove trailing zeros after the decimal points. Okay, so you can remove trailing zeros in the legend. Interesting, okay. Wow. There's my histogram. If I load values, it looks like everything is my mean value. Okay. Huh. I might go back to equal count based on size, not color. Color was interesting. I think that's where I got my best results, but then based on size, I would expect it to well, maybe not. So it is fascinating to me how this works. So it goes from white to this dark blue, and I'm not ready for that. Here's all my changes. Rule-based. Label? Label? Okay, these are the rules, and these are the labels. Okay. No symbols, single symbol. Categorized based on shape length. We did this on a color ramp from that to that. Classify, and we're trying to classify way too many, right? 11,000, we don't want to do 11,000 based on shape length. That would categorize every single length, every single feature, every single record, all 11,000 records in the rivers vector file. We don't want to do that. That would be way too much. That would be intense. What we do want to do is go back to graduated. I like to equal count with a classes set to 5. Classify. Okay. All right. So what if we set an actual effect on top of this, can we apply an effect on this? I have to believe that you can. This is pretty cool. Continuous or discrete. Continuous is fine. Advanced symbol levels, equal, classify, there. Layer rendering. You can set the opacity of the layer all the way down so it's almost dark, or all the way up. And did I set these? Okay. So maybe, what if I did 0.5? Nah, I don't like it that thick. 0.4. That's still too thick to me. We're going with it. 0.35. We're just going to dial each one of these back. 0.3. Just like we did earlier. 0.25. And for our shortest rivers, we're going to make them 0.20. Our short rivers are going to be smaller. Could we do this without affecting the size? No. What if we made it like magma? Ooh. Now that's nice. But maybe we need to invert it. Well, that's going to be pretty cool. What about a spectral? Ooh. Invert. Okay. Inferno. Plasma. Is that what I was looking at already? No, I was looking at magma. What if I did plasma based on short to long? What's our other choices here? Short to long. What's a good color that gradients from short to long that would give that perspective? Maybe something that intensifies. The longer it is, the more it would stand out. Something that goes from sort of pale to more saturated. I always like this one. That's pretty cool. What if I invert it? I like it, but it's still not. It does to some degree represent well. It doesn't really look like rivers though. That looks different. What about purple? No. What about yellow to blue? I don't think so. All right, we got to make a decision. I'm almost going with plasma. I'm not. I might stick with blue. I won't. What about yellow to blue? Ooh. Yeah. I like that. Yellow to blue. We're not going to worry about thickness differences. You could add more classes if you wanted. Reclassify. Oops. Add more classes this way. And you get more of a gradient in your differences there. I'm going to keep it at 5. And here's what I want to look at down here. Draw effects. Let's check this out. We can give them an outer glow. Hey, that's pretty cool. My color ramp gets an outer glow. Wow. Ooh. Spread 2. outer glow, blur radius. I don't think we want to run a drop shadow or anything like that. Yeah, so some pretty interesting effects that you could run. Now, what about direction? Say we had one running northwest or southeast, south, southeast, southwest. You have all sorts of different flow directions. Well, we would need data that would represent elevation change and which way that water flows, at least data that represents which way the water is flowing. And we could, color based off of that and almost get an aspect to our rivers. That would be kind of neat. I'm okay with the blending mode. I'm okay with a lot of what I'm looking at here, and I'm sorry I'm zooming in and out. Just a lot to look at. Well, let's give it a little fill. A little bit of a fill color. Something that's not going to be too drastic. And we're going to bring this up. Our transparency, we can bring it up. Well, should we bring our transparency all the way up? Oh yeah, and let's drag it beneath. Perfect. Huh. Yeah, we can keep that all the way up. But under simple fill and under fill color, we can definitely make some alterations here. You can make it vibrant. Nobody likes that. Give it a little bit of color just to make the land stand out. Again, we can mess with DEMs. These lines look purple to me. There's so much that we can do. But you can do a lot to play with just simple rivers. There's a lot of magic behind the scenes in QGIS. Go explore it yourself.